Yeah.
All right. What is up, chat gang? I'm the magical Mr. Mephisto. I'm joined tonight by Mr. Strengthhammer himself, the Chuck Moore. We're going to be doing an adventure I like to call Interlude, because his character, of course, left the show, or left the adventuring party for a moment there. You are, of course, joining the best damn Soulbound Show, TM, the tabletop RPG podcast, or actual play, where some of your favorite content creators from across Age of Sigmar play Soulbound. So we're actually going to kind of do a quick recap, I think, from your perspective, because you've been the outsider for a little bit, and then we'll kind of move into where we left off with your character, and of course, something has happened in the meta plot of Age of Sigmar that, whilst my game will not focus on it, we can't not address it.
Right. So for where we're at and the gravity of it, it's hard to ignore. And before I go in and talk about where we were at with my character and all that, don't worry, everybody watching at home. Do not adjust your TV screens. My video is a little bit laggy. That's on me. That's not on you guys. You guys are fine. So, if it's distracting, just put a pretty picture of Terathi up over me, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Just cut out the section of your DOK book and tape it on your screen over where Chuck Moore is that mentions his headcanon character, who is now official canon.
Just sit here in my heaven somehow obtaining this. I don't know. Oh man, I'm blessed. There's no doubt there. So where we left off. So the party was adventuring to Adasa together. And my character, Subvertly, received a message from her temple, her cult, the Terathian cult.
Yeah, they communicate in arrows. We learned.
Yep. Apparently other people can read it too. Bigwinter, shout out. The Heywoah there. But yeah, it was a Melusai arrow, which, if you know the Daughters-Khaine lore, if a witch elf gets told something from a Melusai, you kind of have to listen. It's kind of like the CEO of your company coming to you, and it's like you're a year-end newbie, and they're just like, hey, I need you to do this. You kind of go, okay, whatever it is. So the choice that Lanissa had was to either ignore the summons from essentially Morathi herself, or Terathi, through Morathi, however you want to read that, and continue on adventuring with the party, or stick to her roots as a member of the Khainite temples, and go back to assist with whatever was going on. She was resummoned to Anvilgard. Much to maybe some people's surprise, she chose to stick to her Khainite roots while promising to return to the party. A little bit naivete there, for sure. She doesn't know what she's getting into. No, we all do, meta-wise. But she chose to go and perform her duties while still thinking she's going to be able to go back to the group, which she still fully intends to, but I'm excited for tonight to see what she makes of what's about to happen as someone who grew up in Anvilgard. Friends, family, neighbors were there. Even though she's a member of the Khainite cult, she knows that town really well. So it's going to be a really, really fun session, I think. Well, not a long session, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, solo adventures tend to go a little bit quicker because it's a little bit of a back and forth more than okay, now what do you do? What do you do? I think it is important to note that the character Lanissa, rather than being from Ulgu, is from Anvilgard, because a lot of Daughters of Khaine tend to hail from like Ulgu, or like were souls that were like extricated kind of directly, right, by Morathi and her agents. So I think that is poignant. And real quick, Rocco, your boy, dropping 1,000 RDP to remind everyone the chat gang ain't nothing to mess with. We got re-upping the 10-year subscription from Rocco, and then Heywoah coming in hot with 41 years of subscribing, which is, considering, yeah, I've been an affiliate since before the affiliate, basically when it first started, and my community is this small yet close-knit, so I don't know what that says about my ability to rouse groups, but at least I keep them loyal for 41 years.
You got good friends. That's what matters.
That's what.
And also a little side note too. This isn't what my character. I took Mephier gave me some time to decide this plot choice too. Like I chose this because I think it's better for the growth of my character. But this is not without risk. Just to give everyone a heads up, like there's a good chance that Lanissa never returns to the party after tonight. Be it one way or the other, even though the intention is that she's going to, from my part as a character. So we'll see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen.
So, I mean, just a little peek behind the screen here as a GM I'm like a lifelong GM. I try not to not railroad my players, but I do employ a technique called the "Are you sure?" So, like, GMs have this like technique we employ when we're trying to like tell the character that what they're about to do, or the player what they're about to do, might be really, really bad. I "Are you sure'd" Chuck like 4 times.
Yeah, it was more than once.
So, but on the flip side, it is a really good narrative opportunity, which is why we're doing the solo adventure style when not everyone else could make it. It's kind of something we had on the side burner ready to go. And there's in writing, you think a lot about, character motivations. What do they want? What's stopping them from getting it? And like that conflict, and then subverting the conflict, right? Like so you have this expectation, subversion, conflict that you're kind of always playing with. From a writing standpoint, if I was writing a novel, I would probably 100% do this sort of aside, because I can like devote a quick chapter. It's just when you're playing with a group of people, splitting the party tends to be a no-no, even if splitting the party would make for like good story. It sometimes doesn't make for great gameplay. But luckily in the digital era, we have the ability to do something a little bit like this. And Chuck has been informed ahead of time.
To put aside your weak human side.
Oh my gosh.
And join me in remaking this world.
Who's dropping the big stuff here?
Snitbag pledged $5 via Patreon. Thank you for becoming one of my more Mortarks. So you finally got to hear the Dracula like blast. I don't think we've heard one of those live in a while. I did a bunch of new audio for my updates. And so it's the Dracula. Now is the time to put aside your weak human side and join me. Like
nice.
So thank you for becoming one of my merry Mortarks. Yeah, so you've been informed that like this might be backup character territory depending on how tonight goes. And as a GM, I don't want to I'm very explicit in that I do not kill players. Like I do not kill characters. They tend to kill their characters. And this comes up because ultimate agency is always given to my players, but sometimes you make a bunch of decisions that's going to lead you down a dire path. And we know from a meta stance what's about to happen to Anvilgard. Our characters have no idea, and they've been playing really well with that meta knowledge, or despite that meta knowledge, I should say. So, this is a treat, I think. So
it'll be fun. Whatever happens, it's all in the glory of Khaine, or is it?
Or is it? Yeah, we'll see. All right, so Lanissa sort of has an odd little bit of a emotional, pseudo-emotional goodbye with Bigwinter, who just kind of doesn't really get what was going on in that departure. And Lanissa has her mind made up, and she feels some conflict in, dare I say, friendship, or at least the bond she's formed with this party. And I'd imagine ever at the back of her mind is Hag Queen Danae's words, like telling you to like join them to kind of like almost as a spy initially, I think was the implication. It wasn't maybe explicitly stated, but it was implicit or implied that that you should join them to kind of get a read. And I think you can kind of see the ripple effect of what she was thinking before, if you understand the meta knowledge that like the long con was coming down the line and you were kind of part of that. You don't maybe necessarily realize that you just got the sort of like, yeah, oh, fine, yeah, join their soul binding. It's an uncommon binding. This could be a wild card. This could get in the way of our plans. Like, just keep an eye on it. Oh, by all means, do what you're going to do. And now it's time to go home. You see the arrow from the Melusai, and it actually sort of leaves basically just in coded language, like even the orientation of how the arrow struck the tree with like where the moon was at the time you saw it, like is literally giving you a time, and with like the way the message is coded, like super in depth, like next here like assassins can't, thieves can't style like iconography and language. Like this, they're not messing around. Even the
Right.
orientation of the arrow is deliberate with the kind of coded message. And to meet up at the like sort of the real temple, not the sort of forward base or the PR,
Yeah.
quote unquote PR, even though it's just like the witch elves, like witch elf PR game probably pretty weak, but like they still have their like. so you're, so
They
you're
hand out food.
they like hand out food, and they work as part of the town guard too. Like maybe you don't want to go to the witch elves for their soup kitchen, but like you want them on your side in a fight,
Mm-hmm.
for Anvilgard, or at least you used to. Dun dun dun. So you're told to like kind of meet up at the real temple.
Mm-hmm.
And you make your way through with your new pet,
Yep. Lokir.
Lokir, the was it a purple squig?
Purple with a blue belly.
There you go. So you make your way with Lokir, your newly acquired pet, towards like the sort of real temple, which is outside of the city proper, in I believe a little bit of a mountainous area, because Anvilgard is essentially sea, and then just this horseshoe of mountains kind of around it with some jungle that leads into the desert below. The party, of course, at this time will kind of currently, they haven't yet sort of seen the ghost fight yet. Like this is that first night where you've parted ways.
Mm-hmm.
You basically have a night's journey back to Anvilgard. Most of the threats have moved on from like the recent conflict, and the goblins go on the move. So they're stirring up all kinds of like they're displacing a lot of what would be activity in the area. And as one individual, you're able to really take advantage of that and make your way to the temple pretty cleanly, pretty quickly. Of course, the opulence of a proper Daughters of Khaine temple cannot go understated. Whilst the entrance may be hidden, once you kind of hit that valley through a secret passage that, of course, you know of, you can see like the sort of the cloak of mist that just sort of envelops it, to where even if you make it to the valley, you might not notice it right away. But as the mist breaks in the morning, double sunlight, you see the little like brook kind of leading up, and you can see the sort of like the serpent, the sort of like serpent effigy with like a daughter of Khaine on the other side, and you have this sort of dual nature reflected in the architecture. And then, like, of course, the water's like kind of breaking down and trickling down. With the sort of red of the dawn, it almost the sort of clear brook stream almost appears as blood as it kind of rolls down the statues, and you make your way towards these made for a Titan sort of but narrow entrance, and you walk up. You can already feel the eyes of guards that you can't see or pick out upon you. You feel it. There's that air of combat you've become very attuned to. It's heightened. The hair on your neck stand up, like on the backs of your forearms as you approach. Is this Lanissa's first time at the real temple?
No, but she'd be able to count on one hand how many times she's been there. I would say as she's walking forward and she feels the guards upon her, she would, the times where she needed to appear penitent towards Khaine, she would. The times where she'd need to snarl and feral, she would offer the right signs through the body language to essentially alert the guards that she is one of their own.
Give me an etiquette mind roll. We'll go. I won't determine the DM. This isn't about like success or this isn't a pass-fail scenario.
Etiquette. Is it just a pure mind? Sorry.
Yeah, you may not have etiquette trained. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. A 6, a 5.
Okay. 2.
And then, yep. Those be the only ones that are worth a damn.
Your Lanissa is certainly convinced that she's minded her P's and Q's appropriately. I'm also going to say, you see this single sort of feather sort of drift down. You don't see where it comes from, but you kind of catch it out the air. Interesting.
Is there like a specific color to the feather?
you might say it's almost got this like iron sort of blood hue to it, and it's not quite like avian, like not purely bird. I don't know if you've ever encountered one of these before. You've probably only heard about them employed. So I'll allow a. You can do nature. You could do theology because Morathi's cult is a religion.
I think I have more in theology, so I'll try that. Is there a specific DN, or just let you know what I get?
4-2. These you've heard of them, but actually identifying the thing to like putting two and two together might be a lot harder.
Only one success.
Yeah, you're not quite certain. Like
I keep the feather, but unsure of what it is.
Yeah, it kind of like flits down. You don't see where it comes from in like the thickness of the mist that sort of bellows through the valley.
It's outside of reach. I'm sorry.
No, you can't. You pluck it from the sky,
Okay.
as if something maybe flew overhead and you just kind of missed it. They were so stealthy in there. You didn't even hear their winds beating against the wing, or you didn't even hear their wings beating against the wind. They were so deft, almost like they were just flitting about.
I don't. Slight confusion, but as I can't recall what it's for, but I hold on to it and continue my way towards the temple.
Okay. You make your way in. There's no doors, just the opening as you kind of make it in because it's sort of built into the mountainside itself. The sort of Khainite version of Helm's Deep, right? You enter sort of freely and there's braziers and torchlight that sort of like become aglow dimly with a sort of it's clear that it's a magic fire, not a real fire. Real fire's got its own hue to it, oranges and yellows and golds. This is a lot more on the like blue, red, purple spectrum. As they sort of light up as you enter, and there's sort of this main sort of lead up with statues on one side, sort of paying homage directly to Morathi, and on the other side, well, you're familiar with her very specifically as Teyrathi, right? Paying homage to her, never as equal to Morathi, but depending on how deep your character is into the cult lore, you understand that she has some ambitions that are reflected in these statues.
Mm-hmm.
So
gotcha.
You head up. There's like sort of a cauldron on a little bit of a cauldron, little bit of a censer, like one of the sort of classic, big wide open bowls that you would pour water into or whatever. But it's obviously not water.
As I would approach it, I would pull out a non-poison dagger of mine and just cut across the palm and offer a drop of blood into it.
You offer a drop of blood into it. As your blood hits as it sort of like drips in and like touches the thing, the rest of the blood almost like recoils more than ripples, and then like rolls back in to consume it. You're struck with a quick. You're struck with a sudden sort of sinking in your body, as just like an uneasiness that almost feels like a physical sickness momentarily before you push it aside, and you can feel the bonds in your soul binding grow weak. The party you've always sort of felt about you, at the further they've traveled from you, and now within the confines of the temple, it's not broken, but the in game terms, like, you no longer have access to Soulfire.
Gotcha. I will pull the Hydraskin cloak a little bit more about my shoulders to suppress a shiver.
And you get a quick vision as you stare into it initially of, like, literally like the party, like the beginning of an 80s cartoon where they'd all be looking up and off to the side, as it like fades in and out and transitions between them. You get a quick glimpse of them, and then this just terrifying, corpseified, indifferent face sort of consumes the image, and then it's gone in the ripples of blood. You sort of recoil from the font. You're late, you hear. As the silhouette of a opulent, in her full like battle regalia, hag queen sort of like comes around the statue that sort of takes up the bulk of the wall in front of you on the other side of the font, like a classic, just like a witch elf, like holding up like a heart in her palm, like on her knees, you know, looking up to it type thing. Just like this super classic, massive statue, like kneeling with this heart, and the heart itself like hangs over the font that you're sort of under, with her arms outstretched and above it.
I immediately dropped down in supplication. Forgive me, matron. I came as quickly as I was able to. Still unsure exactly who it is.
Right. All's forgiven, all's forgiven. Rise, sister. And stepping out from the shadows, you immediately recognize Hag Queen Danae, who took initially you under the wing, had your father's contact initially. Like, this is 100-year-old to 50-year-old, however, depending on how long ago you're. She's the one.
Right.
So
it's a pleasure to see you again, matron.
Oh no, the pleasure's all around mine, she says. You've taken to your duties with quite a deal of grace. And she like kind of walks over and like takes both your hands from your like sort of position and like sort of lightly gestures for you to stand, while still clutching your hands very gently, with the grace of like every bit of the grace you'd expect of like an assassin / dancer, right? Like, you know, it's equal parts. Yeah, go on.
I rise almost without realizing it from the offer, essentially.
Her skin's like sort of leathered and kind of begun to actually like darken and almost like a hue of a flesh that has initially been like ruddy and had that like sort of red blush of humor that's begun to like go more almost like iron with age and like rust colored, where she's very old and the tips of her ears have started to like go translucent. That really speaks to the age of a pretty old elf. Her hair is you know, white and clear at the tips, and she's wearing the sort of full headgear and like I said, full regalia.
I wonder quietly to myself, because I would not have the gall to say this out loud, is wondering when she last had her last bloodbath to rejuvenate herself, because it seems like it's been a while.
It might be your estimation that after a certain point there's a little bit of a half-life to it.
Gotcha. Okay. She had one 2 hours ago. Good thing I didn't say anything.
She's like, I will spare you any frivolity. She's like, quite simply, we are on the cusp of war. And she sort of walks and turns her back to you, and like sort of classically, like the one hand at the small of her back, the other one in front as she like sort of gestures and talks with her hands, right? I'll spare you and she's looking up at the statue's face, and she's sort of off to the side, and the heart looms above both of you. She's like, I'll spare you any frivolity or small talk. We're on the cusp of war.
I pull out the Melusa arrow that had the message, and I go, I've been told as such, but what war? I mean, there's always the great war against the great devourer, but what war is so pressing to summon me back?
She turns
and looking around and seeing like maybe I guess there's probably more witch elves about than usual would be in the temple.
Yeah, they're ambient. There's you know, many like there's not really pews or anything. Probably more pillows, you know, and then
Mhm.
like many you actually have like rows of witch elves like kneeling and in prayer and stuff like that. You have it's become aware to you now of that sort of behind the pillars and off to the sides and clinging to the shadows. You have like little clutches and groups of witch elves, sitting and talking sort of. In what would have been your walk up, they would have been sort of out of line of sight and sort of off to the side. And as you're at this sort of raised up point around the altar, you kind of like are maybe taking in your surroundings now for the first time, and you catch these like groups of various like witch elves and stuff like that. And I'd even give you a perception now. I'm sorry, an awareness, mind awareness.
4, a 3, and 2 1s. Dice are not doing well tonight.
With one, you catch a just in the shadows, like up above. There's some like sort of chandelier like type things hanging down. None of them lit. Actually, just like sort of extravagant, like almost sculptures where maybe light should be coming from, but like none. You catch a silhouette of what appears to be it's just a silhouette, just the faintest outline shadow of some avian creature, but with maybe some elven features to it, and then it just sort of like it catches your gaze, kind of heading up toward it, and then it recedes back into the shadows. You have a strong suspicion that whatever the feather came from, it's this. It's a humanoid-sized avian creature up in the.
They don't have feathers. This one does though, and I'm gonna go convert it now.
I imagine like a super classical harpy personally.
Oh yeah, no. I kind of dig it. At first I thought outside the story, I thought you were doing Canary, but I was just like, they don't have feathers. I was locked in. I was like, no, let me explore. And now I'm gonna go convert it because I have feathered wings and I want feathered Canary now.
Well, it's the bat wings, right? Are like classically what they have, but like I almost can imagine the the sort of wilted shadow feathers, you know, where like the feather you're holding is like jet black and almost made out of made out of more tar than like feather, you know.
Hey, I like it. Tarathi's gonna get some feathered Canary in my army here next. So you giving me ideas here. I like it.
This is why I'm at once a great GM and a horrible GM, because I'm like, oh yeah, what are the rules? Yeah, this sounds more visually interesting.
There you go. Well, Lanissa, as she notices that she's been noticed, quickly averts her eyes as well, knowing that it's probably something she should not stare at, especially as Danae is continue to walk away.
Well, Danae, yeah, you're kind of like you're near the font, and Danae is she's not really like it's not quite she's talking and back to you, and she occasionally shifts positions, but she's not really walking actively away or anything like that. You'd imagine the speech she's given you is the same sort of line of speech she's given
everybody.
These clutches that are like gathering off beyond the pillars, not in the main sort of prostrate up where people are kneeling and actively praying. Those other folks gathering around the pillars and behind, like they're probably like the agents that have you can see they're in their leathers, they're in their you know like they've recently been called in, and they came in at a stagger as well.
Do I see any of the temple's Melusai around, or at least the area where maybe it would lead to their area?
So behind the altar itself, you sort of have like you have like a pair of doors on either side, like of the main wall. So if you're looking like say south at the altar and this gigantic statue, on the walls to both the east and the west, you have like big double doors that lead off into like sort of like various temple wings. Behind the altar, like going actually behind it, there's a set of stairs, and that's where Danae came from.
Okay. Not to stray too far, I'll simply take out the Melusai arrow. I guess I already had it out, but I will set it reverently somewhere on an altar or something
Yeah,
nearby
the
because
altar's
it's a
got like
weapon of
various
war.
things and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, it's a weapon of war. It's a Melusa thing. It's above my station, so I return it unharmed for them to pick up whenever they see fit.
she kind of takes notice. She's like, "You are particularly pious." Like almost like a compliment before she moves into. She's like, "It's why you were entrusted with your charge." You mentioned the Great Devourer before. She gives like a she purses her lips. She's like, "We have struck the first blow." And by we I mean our great leader doesn't quite do it. I think she'd address her by name. The great Morathi has struck the first blow and taken what was hers.
She's found the remaining shards of Khaine.
She smiles. She has ascended.
Eyes aghast, mouth agape, unsure how to reply or even accept this truth. I just stand there, like.
She's like, "We've messaged from far away in Ulgu that she has succeeded in a aeons long task, and now her ambitions are elsewhere."
What the? Has she ascended to the true bride of Khaine? Is she with Khaine? Has Khaine come back to us?
She is Khaine. She smiles.
How do I roll to weep tears of joy?
I don't think you have to roll.
Okay, a small tear of just joy and like our God is returned to us in whatever form it may be. And I just praise be to Morathi-Khaine then.
Her entourage heads to Anvilgard for the next phase.
What is the? What is the? Nah, she wouldn't ask what the phase is yet. We get to see our ascended God in the flesh.
Many will, she says, but I'm afraid your task may take you away from the promenade.
A slight bit of sadness, but what is my task then, sister?
Our queen is tired of lurking in the shadows and seeks a more permanent foothold amongst the halls of man, dwarf, and elf. Or she wouldn't even say elf. She's been amongst the halls of man and elf, and our strongest allies are in Anvilgard. Still, there are those that could prevent our moves. Tamia Seln, you've met her.
Yes.
She trusts
the God King would deny Morathi?
They've had their disputes in the past. Tamia Seln, you know her. She trusts you, and she trusts you as more of in a question.
Yes, with the work me and the soul binding have done, she's grown fond of it. Our particular Skaven friend, but she has trust for all of us.
Tell me, what has happened to your? It could have. What has happened to your binding? It could be no small task to slip away from them. Were you seen? Do they suspect anything?
I was seen, but they respect my decision to return, and to return alone for this task. For it is a matter between myself and Morathi-Khaine, I suppose, at this point. But they
Morathi-Khaine. She smiles. It has a ring to it, does it not?
Sure does. We've agreed that for them to go on ahead, and I will return to them as soon as I'm able, and we've completed our tasks here.
I'm afraid you won't be returning to them. Their use has expired for us, our purposes. As you said, you've earned Tamia's trust.
I do everything to kind of hold back a bit of a disbelief in what I'm hearing. Not that I'm surprised by it, but by the mutual friendship I've developed with these soul bindings. Have they really been deemed as useless? I mean, they are my friends, and we have bonded.
Her tone finally like gets a little. You sense like a little dagger in it for the first time. She's like, "You've no use for friends outside our order."
I supplicate myself again. Forgive me, sister, while also trying to like kind of hide my face, which is showing confliction.
Their fate has them chasing ghosts and usurpers. Our order has no use of either. That's dramatic irony. I put my hands on my head. Where the audience knows something that the characters don't. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We've no use for either. They chase someone of much smaller ambitions.
What would my use be now, sister?
You're to go to Tamia and kill her. Ahead of the parade.
Sorry, just outside, just like having read the Soulbound book, knowing what a Stormcast can do in this game, I'm just like, oh fuck.
You'll have a small contingent. Oh, it's so great. Like, just we're allowed a little bit of a side, a little rant cast.
Yeah, sorry, just a little aside.
Like the like AOS itself, narratively, Soulbound, not Soulbound. A single like liberator is like is a Superman. Like it's a, and then like on the table you're just like, that sucks. But AOS really does a really good job of bringing them back to like that narrative feel. This is where like RPGs get to do something a little bit that a war game just can't. Right? War games have to be balanced and kind of fair in their points and how they all break down, right? In a role-playing game, you can be like, oh no, it's not fair. Stormcast Eternals just get extra experience points and better equipment than you. And like, it basically has a little blurb in Soulbound that says, they're just better than you, deal with it, and it's great. Because they should be. They should be. Like, that's not to say that you can't like level up and get good and, but it's played on like that sort of like simultaneous like micro macro level that RPGs are so good at switching between, whereas a war game is played always at the macro level. And so you don't get that nuance, that beauty, that detail is kind of like lost and scrubbed away a little bit. But yeah, go ahead and go kill a Stormcast by yourself. No doubt a super leveled up and really great one.
Oh boy.
No, she's like you will be given a contingent to aid in your deeds. And
I think long and hard about Skig.
And I want you to
currently and his
go ahead.
His fondness over my target.
I want you to roll an intuition soul.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah, a liberator is George Washington in lightning power armor. In-game pathetic trash. Exactly. That's why I hope this model that I think we're getting spoiled tomorrow, or not spoiled, is revealed tomorrow, I hope its rules are bonkers. I make it stupid. Make it like just 200, 300 points of utter kick your ass in face. Don't care. Make it unfair. I'm fine with it.
Put the entire Daughters of Khaine rulebook into that one model.
That one war scroll, that single model. You can only have one of them. It's a single model. I will deal with it or ignore it. Like, make it broken. Like,
right.
Anyway.
6, 5, 4, 1. My rolls there.
You sense when she says you'll have a contingent to help you, there's a double meaning.
Internal monologue. I'm dead if I don't do this. I'm. uh, matron, may I ask a maybe a possibly selfish question?
Oh, go on. I wouldn't trust you with such a essential deed without also understanding your prudence and insight. She smiles.
I'm aware that the soul binding is permanent. What would happen to someone if they never return to those they were bound to? Is it reversible, or will I just continue to be a hollow shell? Obviously, living out serving Morathi-Khaine's will until I die, but will I never have the glory of whatever afterlife Daughters of Khaine feel exist? I'm not sure actually on that one.
In brackets, will I not have the
Yeah.
glory of Valhalla?
Yes,
Brackets,
yes.
right? Yeah. She's like, Morathi-Khaine will see that your soul is adequately honored for your services rendered. I doubt this. How do I put this? Your usefulness with the binding will not expire, though you may distance yourself from them. Go ahead and roll another one of these soul intuitions.
Ooh, there we go. 2 4s and 2 5s. Feeling good. Dice are heating up.
You sense that there is a bit more to it. Like, that's a risk she is willing to take
Gotcha.
in the service of figuring out more about the soul binding, because this isn't as of this time. I know that there is intent for it in the soulbound setting. As of this moment in time, the soul binding is like guarded to, like, essentially like order, and it's possible that the Daughters of Khaine themselves haven't figured it out yet. So, you, in so many terms, might be a little bit of a key in them figuring it out, and they're willing to guinea pig you a little bit. I think that your character. So,
I got all right, back to the thought process of Lanissa. I cannot lie. It's like clear that I'm having like heart palpitations, maybe blushing a little bit. That this will put me closer to my goal of one day becoming one of Teyrathi's honor guard, maybe even more. I dare to dream and glance between the Teyrathi and Morathi statues.
if you succeed, I will assure you a spot on her honor guard. When you came to me but a mere babe, lost, with a sailor who knew not what to do with a little girl, and a mother long dead or gone, and a mother long gone, long abandoned you. You had no purpose. We've given you purpose, and it is time to fulfill that. This is your moment, Lanissa. Will you seize it? Will you rise to it? Or you wilt like so many sad others?
The key words are triggering. A look of determination, hardening appears upon Lanissa's face.
Lanissa, I know it's been a while since you last maybe recall this adventure. Lanissa received information from, I believe it was Avender's note,
Yep.
that your mother was forced out the city, not abandoned you.
The look of heart, the look of hardening to perhaps Dania is determination, whereas maybe in actuality it's what's the word? Conflict within.
Well, it's determination. It's just what are you determined to do? She might not have a read of it.
Yes, yes. I mean, I think at this point, Lanissa doesn't have a full read of it yet. When must this be done, matron? And where's my contingent? And how is it to be done? Is it poison?
I leave it up
Is
to
it-
I leave it up to your discretion, as the one who has rapport with Tamia. She is a discerning and extracting general. Should she remain in place when Morathi-Khaine arrives, it may not all go according to plan, so she must be removed before thus. You have but a fortnight to deal with her. Your contingent, she gestures to a small group, like just behind the pillar, that's been easily within earshot of a conversation. They are yours to command. It is but a small command, but we'll get a good understanding of what to expect from you in the future and how you manage them.
Very well. What is my contingent per se? I'm
It's
curious what the
2 witch elves, 2 sisters of slaughter, and a Kinnerai, like lands. She's got
what kind of can
the
like
javelin.
taker? Oh, the Heartrender. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, the Heartrender.
I'm sorry, not to your
No.
pleasure.
No. It's just because I'm like, that one can shoot me from afar if I screw up here.
Yes. The contingency might have 2 meanings.
I
Yeah, so 2 sisters, 2 witches, and a Kinnerai.
I look over at Danae. We will set off at the cover of night to the city. And then I look over to the contingent. Make your prayers and make yourselves ready. And then
You will in the next evening, and she like sort of bows and like steps back, or no, she's fine. In the next evening,
she stands up taller than me.
Yeah,
she puts on
stands up
higher heels.
Yeah. She has like the stilettos, like the double stilettos, like it's a knife and then a stiletto on top of the knife. No, she steps to the side, and a Melusai comes sort of like sliding in. This is Valia Heartstone. You will be in contact with her from now on. I believe you know her arrow.
I supplicate myself in front of the Melusai.
That's not necessary, sister.
I rise.
I do not seek groveling, sniveling cowards in my presence. I do not travel all this way to be pandered to. My presence in the city, you might understand, would bring some noise. I will remain outside of it. Let me know when you succeed. And she like hands you an arrow, like she actually like passes you an arrow over.
Am I supposed to throw this?
I trust you'll find a way to make it work.
Understood.
When the task is complete.
I put it in my belongings. Final Fantasy style.
So you make for Anvilgard. Currently Anvilgard.
As I assume that
Oh, she follows you out of the temple,
yeah, I assume she follows up till the point where she's going to like kind of lay low.
Mhm.
Okay. Upon returning to the city with my sisters alongside me, assuming the canary is probably flying up above.
No,
'cause-
she actually puts on like a cloak, like up
Oh.
over the wing, like and like so she's got like the big and it's bulky, right? Like this isn't
Right,
like
right.
like so it, but
It's enough.
It's Aegis Sigmar, so she just looks like she's got this like wicked
She's
awesome,
Raphael.
yeah, this mantle, like it's up over, otherwise, her features are lither, more angular, sharper, but not super out of place when in the company of other witch elves, right? Or other daughters of Khaine.
Upon returning to the gate of the city, I walk up to where I buried my dagger in the frame, promising to take it upon my return, and I yank it out and sheath it back with my belongings.
Okay. I'm going to. I've ran out of stout here, so I'm going to go grab another cashmere hammer. I'll call this a little bit of a interlude or a break. Chat gang, your chat gang there. How's it going? I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'll try and bring up a chat here. Sorry. As you can tell by my video, potato computer, so my phone's getting here. So how you guys doing out there? You excited for Daughters of Khaine release day / all the amazing stuff we're probably gonna get previewed tomorrow? Kind of curious what everyone's hoping for. The image today was I think pretty honest about what we're gonna see tomorrow too. We're gonna see some nice stuff. Well, I guess we'll wait and see exactly. Oh man, chat gang, where you at? Oh, sorry, my cat's bothering me now. Come on. Okay, not where I thought you'd go. Sure. It's my cat Rose. Be, I guess, keeping me company as I make my decision whether I kill a Stormcast or not. I don't know if I even can kill a Stormcast, even with all these help. I don't know if I want to kill a Stormcast. Nope, she wants more attention. No, those are my dice. Here. Come here. Hold on. Yep, here's Rose, my cat. She's wanting all the attention right now. Stream kitty. She's excited to be a stream kitty now officially. Ugh. Heck yeah. Hey, Cinderfall. All right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I instinctually just begin walking the streets of my, I guess of growing up in this place. I assume the contingent is just following along behind me. Okay. Sisters, I plan to go have a bite to eat and maybe verify the whereabouts of our target. You may follow, or you may head to the Tyrathian temple inside the dock district if you'd like, and wait my words there.
What do you wish of us, sister? What is best for your machinations?
Do I sense any unease in the city? Like, does anything feel out of the ordinary? Because I feel it within my character. Obviously, Lanissa does, but that's with the knowledge she has.
I think this is intuition soul again, because it's not so much. It's not like intuition soul again. We'll go DN 4-2.
Just one success, actually.
I mean, you can't tell. Like, like maybe there's an uneasiness to Anvilgard right now, but maybe that's just your nerves.
Okay. I need some. I think I need to head off to gather the information alone. If I show up with all of you and without my usual party, I think suspicion might be aroused. Wait for me within the Tyrathian temple.
All right. They nod and just sort of disperse.
I head to the Brazen Steed, where Mara Sterngard, Stormcast Eternal, is the innkeeper.
All right. It is a proper sort of end of the blue collar slob week for many of the dock workers and stuff like that. So her tavern is particularly boisterous, particularly loud this evening. You kind of went there during off hours. You're getting there at evening, pretty much right at the end of the work week. For a lot of these dock workers and stuff like that in Anvilgard. So it is loud. You can hear the music like a block away as you're walking up. And you can see the glow from down the road as those sort of big stained glass windows. You remember it's almost like a temple unto itself, like a miniature little church building style thing that's retrofitted to be a tavern. And you can see see that sort of glow just sort of rippling and wafting along the streets as you walk toward it, along the cobblestone, right? And you enter.
Before entering,
okay.
I pause. I would like to pause before I enter. Just close my eyes and just kind of absorb it all. Deep breaths.
You can
take it all in.
Yeah, you take in, and so Mara's tavern isn't too far off the docks themselves. So you can breathe in the Cinder Sea. You get that sort of waft of sea air and salt and algae, but then also that sort of familiar Anvilgard twinge of of cinder and flame and soot that kind of comes with the Cinder Sea, almost like a little a hint of sulfur, and these odors that have all been very familiar to you, as well as that sort of strange, almost perfume-like quality that the mists that they pump into the city to keep the veins all at bay, to keep the jungle all at bay. That brings its own almost alien odor is the only way I can describe it, like an alien perfume where it's just weird. This is alchemy. This is natural plant life that they found that is weedish and beats off the other plant life, and so it's got this almost what's it called? Almost like a composty, perfumey, just a
like
weird,
peat moss or something.
yeah, just weird peat mossy, sort of just a bizarre flavor or bizarre odor that's sort of mixing with the scent of the sea. Cinderfall Gaming with a tier 1 sub for 5 years. Thank you so much there, Luke. Cheers.
Nice. Yeah. Definitely get some happy memories of all these sights and sounds and smells, and also pretty small smile to myself seeing how quickly the city recovered after the recent Skaven attack that we helped.
Yeah, it's not lost on you that the Skaven weakening them might play a factor into the decisiveness of Morathi-Khaine's decision to assault it now. It's not lost on you whatsoever. Like her, almost like she not necessarily planned on it, but certainly striking while the iron's hot.
I enter.
All right.
Fight my way through the crowd and.
Oh yeah, there's a live band this night. The one little sort of meager stage that's really more like a few barrels that they at one point in time like laid down and like blocked in, and then they put like some plank board on top of, and then like eventually they built it up a little bit better and made it sturdier as like the tavern got more successful and stuff like that. But this total like not makeshift, but this sort of like roughshod sort of jury rigged up stage that wasn't there before with the old bones of the place.
Very human.
Yeah, live up there. You don't initially see Mara as you walk in. You see the sort of standard fare of the various like bar servers and barmaids and bar hands and stuff like that, all scattered about in full activity mode. Big planks with tankards of ale spread all about, and mead, just passing them out faster than they can really handle. And then you just hear a loud thwack that sort of cracks through the noise as someone gets punched in the jaw and they fall down. this burly sort of lumberjack of a human, like just starting something, just pow, and you see Mara in her fiery sort of curly hair there, just standing, like the camera is on her knuckles and then shoots up her shoulder to her stern jaw. And she's wearing like the Stormcast like classical armor. And remember, they're she would be the one like sort of a demon undead breaker thing, not Hallowheart. I can't recall what they were in Anvilgard. It escapes me right now, but like they were like they're some of the oldest Stormcast around. Like they were that first wave. She's rocking that regalia, and then she's got an apron on over it. You see like ale stains and stuff on it, and like a little bit of blood up around the collar from this guy.
I applaud her victory over whatever ruffian she just put down.
She sees you immediately, spits down, not on him but around him. Said I cheated at cards. And like she's like, and she like just sort of flexes like hand on the shoulder, like Mara Sterngard ain't never cheated nobody in her life, or all the several lives before this one.
Clearly, you're hiding cards up your dexterous fingers in those armored gauntlets of yours, no doubt. I offer a wink to Mara.
She's what are you drinking, sweetheart? She asks.
Wine as always.
She's like, I know the vintage. She smiles. She leans on her bar top. She's like, our rare vintage, she says, and they get the little, sort of weird, for one of those, for one of them, the stabby elves.
The sharper ones.
They
No, not the stabby from afar, the stabby up close ones.
Yeah, they like going to grab one of those like sort of like the first like big green sort of bulbous almost bottles of wine. They like nod, put it back under, like pull out like a dusty like one, dust it off some, pour some in there, and you can see the familiar sort of like dark burgundy of it all, and then you can catch that like as it's brought over to you, can catch that like light like iron smell of a exotic element in it that you've come to grow fond of.
Yeah, I swirl it beneath my nose before taking a sip and kind of pause, perhaps a little too long, as I just kind of stare into the drink, kind of realizing that perhaps this is a very fleeting moment. This might be the last time, internally, this might be the last time I have a moment like this.
She sits down. She sits down next to you. Mind if I join you?
Of course. Always happy to have strongest innkeeper in town for company.
She grins, and you can see she's like missing one tooth. Like just like the urn of like more of a like a single like sort of shattered tooth from like just a proper scrap.
So it's like she gets it reforged, and as soon as she's reforged, she just rips it back out. She's like, "That's character."
Right. She gives like that grin, the sort of chipped tooth grin, and one of the barkeeps comes over, like goes to pour her a glass out of like some sort of dark sort of brownish liquor bottle, and just like immediately corrects himself with his like head nod, puts the glass back down, leaves the bottle. She grabs it like she's like, wait a minute, where's the the weird one and the short one and the big one?
They're outside the city right now. I had to return. I couldn't keep too far away from Anvilgard for too long, it seems. But they're well.
Good. Well, those 11th Dawn blokes all but run out of town here on account of all y'all, she says. Pity, not all of them were evil, just some wayward souls, off the beaten path.
Kind of nonchalantly as she's talking, just responding like, they all bled the same. Kind of like not realizing how cold it sounded.
She shrugs. She's like, not all of us get the luxury of choosing our path, she says. The luxury of choosing our path. And she holds up her bottle.
I pause, but I look up quite, and I offer the toast. Half-heartedly, but offered it.
Pulls a big, a mighty swig from the bottle, slams it without even a whiskey grimace. She's like, warms you in here and in here, she says. She's like, you seem a mite morose there, sweetheart. What's going on?
Forgive me. I don't mean to bring down the mood of this eventful evening. Just a lot on my mind right now. Nothing, I guess, to concern yourself too much with. It's, Khaine stuff, and I'm sure you're not eager to learn about my god being a reborn minor incarnation of your god.
She shrugs. She's like, I never was the pious sort. She looks at you. She's like, I've seen Sigmar, but when I was reforged, weren't nothing to do with worship of him. She's like, I just did what was right in my time. Saved a village, marauders. Everyone knows a story like that in these times, she says. Guess I was pretty impressive when I did it, and though she looks around the tavern, in times of peace didn't take me much long to go back to my old ways, now did it? And she laughs.
Hearty chuckle.
Been reforged a half a dozen times, and I still remember a place like this in every one of my dreams.
What was it like meeting your god?
She's like, different. He seemed sadder than I thought he would.
Do you still believe in him?
I'm sorry, you just asked yourself a 3-glass of wine question, or you just asked yourself a 3-bottle of bourbon question, and I'm only 2 in.
I turn around and say, is there a barkeep nearby that I can buy one?
Like he's like the guy who's like almost gave the glass before is already putting up the next bottle. She's like, well, now finish yours.
Okay.
You go to finish the glass and like the bottle's already next to you.
Oh no.
This is going to be a body.
right now. Yeah.
So this will be a body might roll as you slam your bottle of wine. And she's going to go and slam it thusly. I'm going to actually roll for her.
Where would might be?
Never
mind. I see it right in front. Oh no, I'm not trained in this. Oh no. Oh no.
DN4, and then you're counting the number of successes.
Oh no.
She gets a mere 5 successes, so she's going to feel this one.
All right, so I got a 6, a 3, a 3, and a 1.
Okay, you're to put it lightly, you're feeling it. Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to have disadvantage on initiative should something occur.
Okay.
And you will similarly have disadvantage on body on any complex body type check, like trying to like pick a lock or. Okay, you're comfortably drunk, right? Like this is not you're not hammered, you're not, but you are
in a comfortable spot. Yep.
You are comfortably feeling it. Like you feel the the inebriation lift like a little bit, or the inhibitions lift a little bit. You're comfortably drunk. She slams a bottle. This is her second one in. So she uncorks the third. I'm sorry, darling. You're gonna. Or I'm sorry, hun. You're gonna have to repeat the question.
Ooh. I pause. Do you still believe in your god?
Funny thing about Sigmar is I don't exactly think he's the sort that ever wanted to wear the crown. When I met him, like I said, he seems sadder. Don't get me wrong, he's good in a scrap and hell of a god to have on your side on a battlefield, she says. It's all the stuff between. All this. Sometimes your best wartime generals are your worst peacetime generals, and I got all kinds of thoughts about that. But
I'm sure there'll be another war soon enough.
Yeah, but do I still believe him? I mean, that's a tough one. I've been reforged a few times, so I know he's powerful, and I've rode the bolt of lightning right down into the heart of a battle and walked out. Nothing but a dent, or maybe this, and she grins and shows her chipped tooth.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen evil that never goes away, stays with you. Yeah, I believe in him. But I don't believe he's as mighty as one might think a god is. That maybe I'm the worthier part of that equation,
I'm trying to know. Would you ever tell him no?
Suppose I come from a particularly long order of Stormcast, she says. She points at the pauldron closest to you.
Mm-hmm.
We saw some rough stuff early on, right out the Age of Chaos. And I only have it in postcards up here. But I remember having to do some bad stuff just to get a foothold, Those were desperate times, though, and I like to think if you shot me on a lightning bolt back then, I'd be strong enough to say no now. But they say we lose a little bit of ourselves each time we kill or get killed. Suspect that's a little different from what y'all believe, though. And she starts laughing.
Yeah. We enjoy our killing. Not the being killed part, but But in the end, it's all for Khaine. It's all sacrifice for Khaine in our eyes.
Well, see that
Everything we do is for Khaine.
you ever tried? Look, darling, I wielded my hammer a long time, and I know one thing, and that one thing is killing's easy. Living with it's the hard part. Y'all got your own, can and all that, and cauldrons, and I don't judge. We all trying to make sense of the world, all trying to make sense of the chaos with a capital C. Mostly, I think you find something what matters to you, and you hold on to that. If that's Khaine, she smiles, then you hold on to that, darling. She's like, if it's something else, then you fight for that too, and that makes you mighty.
Through a bit of a pause, respectful pause, I kind of laugh, looking at the now finished drink, third. And I go, what does it take to put a Stormcast down?
Wish I knew. Wishing I knew.
I pull out some money, set it on the counter. Thanks, Mara.
Your money's no good here.
I leave some tip for the bartender who's cleaning up many bottles.
She laughs.
He's earning his money tonight, no doubt.
Oh yeah, keeping up.
Yep. Thanks, Mara. I appreciate it.
She smiles. You're welcome here anytime. Anytime. Now, I got some loser's money to go take in a game of Three Dragon Ante. Or whatever. She stands up and walks over to where the cards are being dealt. Dealing old tavern keeper in. Like, that ain't no tavern keeper, someone says. That there's a warrior. And then she says, cards are the same thing as battle.
I love her. I kind of linger for a little bit longer, enjoying the atmosphere before departing back to the temple.
All right. Okay.
I assume all of the contingent are there waiting.
They are indeed.
Actually, as I'm walking back, do I see any familiar vessels in the harbor?
You see the Devil Cashmere. I think that's what you were asking specifically.
Yeah. Well, asking without asking. I mosey on down towards the docks. See if anyone's awake on the ship.
Can you throw it? Thank you. Champagne strawberries from Russell Stover. Thank you. Yeah, clearance candy. Thank you. Clearance candy, everybody. It's clearance candy season.
Huzzah!
Huzzah. Oh, I'm sorry. You're gonna have to reset that for me real quick. You walk to the docks, I think, is where
I walk to the docks to see if anyone's awake on the ship. The Devil Cashmere.
Yeah, the Devil Cashmere is out in the harbor itself, and you've got its mini away vessel there. And as you'll recall, the particular old man who sort of ferries you to it, he's sitting there, and he's got a bottle of classic bottle of rum, and he's singing sea shanties because I guess those are trending right now on the internet. So he's singing sea shanties. The docks are oddly quiet and still, in stark contrast to the tavern.
I hastily, I don't know, look for a poster or something that I can scribble a message, to give to the.
Yeah, there's.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's like some like scuffed up labels on like where you have like you have like a big stack of like barrels and stuff on like a like on like a pallet or something like that, and they have like labels that are like peeling, and there's several labels. You just pull one off and you can scribble something on the back.
Yeah, essentially a message to Avender from Lanissa saying, "You've always been kind to me and my friends. I would encourage you to leave this city now and make your way to another port."
I really hope that's not for me. You hear?
I turn around and kind of like crunch it up. It's like, why do you think I would care about you, Avender? And I smile against my.
You see it like he's in the like he's got the like you can see the trifold hat that he sometimes wears is like kind of like scrunched up as if he's been in a recent scuffle. He's just like, I suppose I'm gonna have to get a new one, and he just kind of like throws it off to the side. How else will people know I'm a captain without the hat?
And the big feather, big feather.
The bigger the feather, the mightier the captain. That's my understanding of it.
Well, at least you kept your clothes this night as opposed to the gambling the last time.
That was a fluke. Mara is ruthless.
No, she is. She is.
Something about cards are war. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't mess with Mara. She'll take your soul.
He's like planning it. He's like, I thought y'all already. I thought you and your friends already left.
We did. I returned. They're still on their way.
Bit curious you're back in town.
Had some temple business that I was summoned to and need to take care of. But they'll be fine without me. They always did with or without me.
He walks in a little bit closer. Of course, he says, of course. Look, when you were leaving, and like he grabs your hand, like one hand, and like he's almost got this like teary-eyed sort of thing. He's like, when you were leaving, I was relieved. He lets go of your hand. Look, there's he looks you over. You should have stayed gone.
I'm not sure what I should be doing anymore, it feels, but I'm here, for better or worse. Although, I came as a friend to perhaps tell you that you might best be on your way from this port. Find another one for a while.
He smiles. Would that I could, but I got a job to make good on. Just like that.
What?
Just like that Hydra feels like forever ago.
Yeah. What's the job this time?
Just like the Hydra forever ago, he smiles. Smuggling.
Hmm.
Or freelance freedom giving. Allegedly. Some wares have to be procured and liberated and transported elsewhere. There's always a market for that. Especially before, well, I really hope you didn't come back for what I think you came back for.
Depends what you think I came back for.
Well, I know it's not me. So.
I always talk best with you whenever we're dueling. I pull out a dagger. To first blood.
Oh, Lanissa. I already bled for you. And he, like, looks up.
I'm very confused right now. What do you mean?
I mean, you win. This time. He, like, puts his hand on your shoulder. Like you said, I, gotta look for a different port. And he, like, starts to walk past you.
As he walking away, can I try to take the dagger in my hand and kind of like slip it into like a pocket on his cloak or something?
Yeah, you can try that. That's going to be a...
I can try. I know I can try.
It's going to be a body dexterity. This will be opposed because he's also a thiefy sort.
Oh,
So
all right.
opposed, you're always looking for force unless you have like advantage or something.
No, I just have a couple training in it. 4 successes.
And he does have training in this.
Oh no.
Because of course he would.
Yeah,
He doesn't seem to notice.
I
I assure you I rolled more dice than you.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. I had 6, and that was just as big a roll as I could do.
Okay, samesies. Okay.
Okay.
But I
All
had
right.
I had training and focus. All
Yeah,
right.
I only have a couple training. Okay. I sigh, a bit confused, but was hoping for perhaps a better chat, but can't choose everything anymore, it seems, and I make my way back to the temple for the night.
All right. Ja'an Torgella, which is the Kinnerai, is waiting for you as you walk in. She's the only one from your entourage, your contingent that you see. She is immediately in the doorway.
What's her name?
Ja'an. It's JHA''AN, and then Torgella, TORGELLA. I did a little bit of the George Lucas thing where he takes a normal name and he makes it weird, like Jan.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
You're still up? John.
Jan. Waiting, as it were. Waiting, as it were, mistress.
You don't need to wait up for me.
Oh, but I do. The mission hinges upon you, and I've never failed at my mission before.
And what is your mission?
To see that you complete yours. Curious that a relative unknown and unproven would render my services from the order.
Well, I mean, you're free to leave any time. I'm not holding you here. It's your other constraints that seem to be doing so.
I am duty-bound, you see. She, like, gets in your face, like, in your personal space, and her sort of, like, more angular... I mean, she's very much elven, right? Like, but they're just slightly sharper, slightly more avian, as Ulgu itself has begun to twist her form, right? From being there for a prolonged period of time, and maybe even the dream or soul she was plucked from was a little twisted to begin with, like, right? And it's just almost like an uncanny valley as you stare in the face of her. I've always completed my missions. They always keep me on task. What's your track record?
My track record is what put me here in the first place. And it's not to be questioned. I'm here because I've served, and I'm here because I'm continuing to serve.
She leans back and just like a little leans back and takes that sort of single half step out of your personal space as you sort of take some assertive position in the conversation. I heard you were on a top secret mission.
Sorry, does she mean before this? Obviously.
She means the soul binding. I think it's
okay.
pretty.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure how top secret it was, but it was definitely different.
Interesting. So what's it like to sleep that close to an ogre and a dwarf? I hear they smell horribly, like rotten meat and burnt metal.
It's no worse than the slums I grew up here in Anvilgard. The ogre's warm, though, at least. Give it that much.
Where your next mission, hypothetically speaking? There's like a bit of a scuffle outside. Her gaze looks outward. Nice meeting you, sister. And parlaying with you in a more intimate fashion.
Pleasure was mine.
She sort of steps to the side to let you walk past her. And then
expect her to the Batman grapple away.
oh, she there's just you hear a ruffle of cloak and flapping, and then she's not there. But it's not perfectly Batman, right? You hear it, and if you look back, she's not there. You could probably try to see her if you want to.
Nah, that's fine.
You get some shut eye.
Yep.
You awake.
Nice.
Yeah, next day. This is where if it were a movie, you'd see the amount of days until Morathi-Khaine arrives, and it's ticked down by one. And it
you ever play Catherine?
No, but I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, the countdown when it's
it's such a weird game.
I love it.
Of course you do.
I love it so much.
Double Weeb Mega XL here, and I'm Weebelite.
Yeah. That's a deep Weeb game, but I love it. I do my morning prayers. I find myself,
with the exception of Ja'an, Ja'an, the rest of the contingent is there to do their prayers and stuff like that. She may have her own ritual.
I do have some habits that won't go away. For instance, I wasn't really comfortable sleeping on a bed because I haven't done that as of late. After my prayers, I wait around a little bit, waiting for breakfast to be cooked, and I realize Bigwinter's not here, and I have to go find my own food.
Yeah, there's no a meal to warm you on this day.
Yeah.
It's blood sausages and eggs.
Blood broth.
Yeah, blood sausages and eggs.
Oh, okay, it's meat.
Yeah, blood sausages and eggs. With a burnt biscuit, the kind that you'd cook in a cast iron over the fire, so it the edges always burn. But you make it with extra butter, so it does fluff some decently. Boom, George R. Martin up in this shit, describing food.
There you go. Sisters, we must scope out and find where Tamia. Yeah, where Tamia. Where her whereabouts routine. She should be, as usual, in the keep itself. So we must.
Oft around the library, I'm to understand, sister. Says Sister of Battle 1. Or not Sister of Battle, sorry, Slaughter Sister 1.
Sisters of Slaughter.
Yeah, Sister of Slaughter.
Oh, well, we got a bolt gun. I can do whatever I want now. Let's go.
What's that?
That's you just gave me a bolt gun. This Stormcast, not a problem if I go that route. Yeah, we need to find her usual routine. I will walk in as I'm free to do so, but you all might not have the convenience of that, so be stealthily. Keep eyes on her. Find out where she might put herself that might be good for a ambush, but do not strike unless I give the signal. We will scout today.
You're cutting it close to the wire, sister. But I appreciate the thoroughness. And Ja'an is suddenly there. So I knew tonight was going to be super hardcore.
Ooh, oh man, pulling up Twisted Tea.
The Twisted Tea. I need a portion of my power. No, I need all my power for this adventure.
All of your power.
Sorry, I cut you off mid-sentence.
Oh, you're fine. Jan, I need you to watch the exits. See if there's any places she leaves besides the main gate.
You hope to get her outside the city?
No, I just want to know her whereabouts, if she leaves or not.
Would you like me to tail her?
If she leaves, yes.
Very well. I don't think you need to roll an intuition that there's a twinge of defiance in her response.
Sister, are we on the same team? Because it seems like you're doing everything you can to make this task harder than it needs to be.
We have the same goal in mind, sister.
Very well.
And you are, as made ever so clear to me by our matron, in charge. And she does a light bow as she backs away and then turns to leave the temple.
Mm-hmm. I turn to the rest of the contingent. I will venture in at noon and try to gain audience with her to make her feel more at ease in my presence. So be ready in your scouting positions then, and if I give the signal, pounce, but only if I give the signal. Today's not the day.
Today we are reconnaissance, says Sister of Slaughter 2. I gave them names. That's how much I care about them.
Are they going to die?
I gave you 5 well-statted, 4 well-statted witch elves, which are essentially 4 player characters worth of stats of what you were prior to some levels up and stuff. And then I gave you one sort of pure NPC that I have built to be awesome, right?
Nice.
You have the tools to kill Tamia Seln, I assure you. But I'm not going to dilute the narrative by being here's a generic name that's never going to come up.
That's fair.
All right.
I've already forgotten their names after you told me anyway.
Yeah, I would have, right?
Nicknames. You're Raphael, you're Leonardo, you're... I'm kidding.
That's it? No.
They're all in the right colors, too.
Oh, yeah, it's now Raya.
Raya.
Yep. Raya. We'll go with Raya. Uriah Heep. Fucking great band.
Leos.
Leos. I like that. So those are your Sisters of Slaughter. Your witch elves then are Michaela.
Love it.
And
Talino.
Talino. All right. There we go.
Or Talina. Whatever you like.
I like Talina.
Someone make these characters. Even though they may die tonight. I'll make these characters.
Beautiful.
Son of a bit.
So another GMing tip. Usually I keep a list of 20 names off to the side, so when I have to do this, you don't get to see how the sausage is made. And so it seems like I'm way more on point and stuff. Like I'm like, oh yeah, like, but my notes are like, oh yeah, contingent of blah. Here's the one I wrote up with the story and the narrative beats. And I'm like, oh yeah, the random other people. If you think your GM has thought out everything, they never have. They just pretend they have.
Oh yeah, that's how I do it. Broad
Alright.
brush, make it up.
Yep. Paint the
I guess
picture in broad strokes, fill in the details. Usually, you're letting your players fill in the details. That's what makes it beautiful.
I wait till noon and I make my way to the Stormkeep proper.
Okay. The four sisters sort of take up their scouting and they remain out. And you've sent Ja'an sort of further away. Interestingly. Interesting. Weird. Interesting.
I mean, walking into the hall, do I see Tamia anywhere?
All right, so as before, you sort of like walk in and you have like essentially like stables with like griff chargers and all the like the crazy stuff, and like to the side you have like a pseudo barracks, and it's set up like a freaking RTS, right? Like it's a pretty classical like sort of keep walls within walls in here. It's closer to the like offset from the heart of the city, so they can deploy well to the outside walls. But I mean, it's still inward enough to, if an assault breaches, they still have like all their stuff guarded well, and they can send out. Tamia is.
Oh,
go ahead.
Before you get, did I see the Devil Cashmere as I was walking through the dock area? Was it still?
You'd have to go out your way to check that.
Okay, never mind. I wouldn't do that.
Like
then.
the dock is like, because you came from the temple to the keep, you'd have to like loop literally out your way to double check.
Okay, yeah, I want to do that. Not at this point.
Yeah. So, she's not like walking about and meandering about. You head into the keep proper, where the library is, where you met her the first time. She's not like in front of the big hearth where you took audience with her, but like you walk in, you kind of go to like talk to somebody like in the entryway, and you look off to the side, and she's like book in fist, like standing in the rows of books off in like the sort of little library.
I kind of blend in and make myself part of, I guess, the scene, and kind of watch her for a bit before I approach.
I don't. You say blend in, so I don't think this is like the overt, crazy type of stealth.
Yeah, no.
But it is a sort of like a type of, try to be nondescript and so on and so forth. So I'm gonna have a body stealth roll.
Sure.
As you try to blend in and sort of like lose yourself in the crowd, more of like an Assassin's Creed, like where you walk through the crowd subtly type thing. You're doing a little bit more of that thing.
DN4. 3 successes.
It would be opposed, so. Okay. You watch her for a bit and you kind of blend in.
Does she go anywhere? Does she change, or is she just standing there reading?
Oh, she's like actually like engrossed in a book.
Okay.
And like you catch her like, oh, fascinating, and like just like she is full on like bookworming it right now. Fascinating. And then like she laughs and then like looks around embarrassed and like covers her mouth and like snickers a little bit. She seems to be reading something pretty engaging.
Is it smut? She reading smut?
You don't know that.
I approach her.
Oh. And the butler was the love interest, she says, not the murderer. And she's
I would have voted for the murderer, but different stories, I suppose.
Oh, Lanissa, and she like is looking past you automatically. Did your journey not go well?
It's going well. I got sidetracked, and no, Skig is not with me. He's continuing down to Odessa.
So, I suppose what To what do I owe the pleasure?
Uh, my business brought me back here, and I thought I'd just stop in and let you know that Skig is still all right, in case word got to you that I was in the city and Skig wasn't. Didn't want you to worry.
Hmm. Yeah, Skig seems quite the capable individual. Um, it is curious though. You say your business is the 11th Dawn. Have they recouped? Do you have word of them? Is it this have the did we not take care of all the devices to halt a future invasion?
May I see the book you have in front of you?
Oh, this I don't think you'd be interested in this.
Please, I insist.
She hands you a book of biology on like various like flora and fauna, like so I guess it's biology and botany. It's like flora and fauna and stuff like that, and you can roll a awareness mind.
Oh man. Okay. Oh yeah, 4 successes. 5, 5, 4, and a 6.
4 successes.
Yes, sir.
It is a push, so it goes to the tie goes to player. You notice her palm something off out of it and like tuck it in her like long robe sleeve as she like hands you. Oh yeah, sure. And it's like super deft. And again, you tie, so it's like you only barely catch like the flourish or flutter of a page like go into her sleeve.
Can I see all the books?
Whatever do you mean?
It's I suppose we all have our secrets.
Indeed, she smiles and like she just sort of like, like tucks and shifts a little better.
My business that brought me back here is I stare at her very. I let my demeanor drop. Let it become very serious as I look her dead in the eye. Is Khaine's business. So that's why the party is not with me.
Speak your piece. You sense a familiarity with this matter.
No, it's nothing you need to concern yourself with. Um, Not yet, anyway.
So you came here to tell me that you have business that I don't need to concern myself with yet.
You sure I can't see your other book?
She reaches in her sleeve and pulls out a a uh, a book by Ostrej Sparks.
I flick it open, start loosely looking at it. Is there a
It's
cast of characters?
It's like a romance novel, like pure, like hokey, like.
Is there a cast of characters in it?
Of course.
Look for the one that's labeled murderer, and look at what's his name.
Oh, like it doesn't have like a cast, like a.
Okay.
No, nothing like that.
Okay. Then I just flick to a page, trying to scan words for words that might say murder, attack, kill.
Okay. Yeah.
Trying to.
I mean, it's between all the like the weird sex,
Mhm.
and like eroticism. Like, yeah, it's just all about murder and sex. It's like it's a romance novel. That's all it's about.
Oh, and I'm probably familiar with this one. This is a great book. Um, as I'm talking to her, Khaine's business is Khaine's business. But as like I'm going through, I'm stopping and making sure I'm like pointing at certain words, like I said, the ones that maybe murder, kill, attack, and then at some point I stop on one that says help.
Have you read this one?
I believe I have some time ago. It's quite a good one. I'm glad that you also enjoy it.
I always found it interesting that the one they set up to be the murderer in all the ways was working to help the protagonist.
Isn't it a bit odd how that the murderer couldn't help but do it? Felt as if they were being led down a path, knowing that there was a choice, but unsure of how to stop walking said path.
Hmm. Ironic that it's the way they trip into the arms of the one they love or care for that gets them off the path. She just puts the book away. She puts her hand on your shoulder and goes to turn away and like just sort of like whispers like in the aside with like as she goes to like shelf the like biology book to like block sound going out the other way even. She's like, I will not abandon my duties.
I hope you have a pleasant day.
And I am willing to sacrifice parts of myself for what is right. Are you?
I believe all stories should have a happy ending.
That's why I like nonfiction, she says. There are no endings. And she like goes continue and she's like shelving some books and
Would you be up for another meeting tomorrow? I will be able to conclude my business by the day's out and wouldn't mind another chat.
she nods solemnly. Where?
Where would you recommend that would be private?
I've always found the bustle of the city's docks paradoxically serene, chaotic, and peaceful.
Very well. If that's your wish. If you're agreeing to this meeting, then I can at least honor that much.
It's the heart of Anvilgard. The billows often get the attention, but it is the commerce and activity of the docks that... And she just trails off.
I turn and leave.
So I'm clear. What time did you mention? Like, is this a high noon? Is this a
Tomorrow morning?
morning? Okay.
Sunrise before the dock gets
Busy.
very busy.
Yeah. Classic. I think we take our last intermission of the evening.
Okay.
I see where this is going, and
do you? You don't know if I'm going to stab her or run.
Oh, I think I know. So I'm gonna use the restroom now and make sure I'm topped off for the.
I am as well.
Yeah. It's okay. I'll edit this out in the podcast version. They won't get any dead air.
Oh, you should leave it in.
I'll just record a commercial.
What do you think, chat gang? Abandon the party? Or do I not? Yeah, let me know. Let me know in the comments. What would you do if you had to choose between your god or friends? Follow your heart. That's a good one. It's at the heart that I cast my invocation. My cat's down here, giving me comfort, trying to guide me in these trying times, offering me an egg.
Snitbag. Follow your heart.
You're gone. I'm just like, oh god, what do I do, guys? I don't know.
One-on-one RP this is how I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
I think I mentioned before my like sort of abridged version is I played D&D with a friend in like 4th or 5th grade. His older brother, like he was like 2-3 years older, ran us in like a quick, like very modular style game, and I'm like, this is cool. And then we went out and we played, but it wasn't until like the 6th grade when I met my friend Sam. I went back to his house, and like that was when like I just got obsessed with it. And like his brother ran us, and we had like a small party, but it was me and Sam just like role playing multiple times a week, one-on-one, whenever there was an adventure ready to go. And like it got to the point where like he wasn't running adventures enough, so I picked up running a game. And so like if he didn't have something ready, I'd run a game. And so you got that one-on-one RP, and that was how I gamed all the way up for the most part until like halfway through high school, where like now like I moved away from Sam and like had to like indoctrinate new people because I went to a bunch of different high schools. But I never forgot that feeling of like that, and that's where like I always try to make my games a lot more. You know, that's why we tend to have like an adventure where it's all RP, and then an adventure where it's combat, and then an adventure where it's all RP, because like that heart,
that's fun.
That heart of like just interacting with like characters. And like in some respects you're kind of throwing like just rando characters at the party to like just try to see what resonates with them. But then also you're just like, here's a stimulus, and then you can get the party to RP with each other. The best moments as a GM for me are when I've done something to where the party just starts to RP, and like if I haven't said anything for like an hour and it's just been the party the whole time, I have achieved peak GMing. That's so.
I get you.
So I like the one-on-one sessions. It's hard because like you gotta like it's like you gotta fit more people in because you know you don't want to exclude people. But like one-on-one sessions are like
they're great. It's just hard to be on all the time. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Because like there's also a part of me right now. It's like I'm trying to really think. It's like because like peek inside my head. Like I I still like my meter's ticking left and right very rapidly right now. It's just like because like either the party, which is my friends, both in real life and in the game, or I betray this figurative, like indoctrinated cult I've created within my own head that I am so bound to. So it's just like both of these things are against what I want, like in real life and in character wise.
This is the supremest form of conflict one can cause, which is character conflict and personal conflict. So
yeah.
I, as a storyteller, have succeeded. Enjoy the fallout of your own horrible actions.
Yeah, no matter what happens, this sucks.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah. So the sun, like before, is just barely like beginning to peak out on the Cinder Sea, and the earliest shreds of light haven't even made their way to the docks yet, so it's still pretty pitch and dark by the time you and your entourage arrive. What marching orders did you give them sort of in the, we're going to like flashback as you're like sort of walking to the docks, and we'll flashback to what you say to them.
I order them to spread out, be ready for a fight. Stay close, but stay hidden until it begins.
And Joanne is like, and she just agreed to meet you for her demise.
She has trust in me.
Or you have a more silver tongue than any of us expected.
Maybe. Maybe not.
Curious. Would you like me to take a perch of particular vantage?
I look out towards the docks. So am I close to the docks? I can see them now.
Yeah, you're heading there. You're like, there happens to be a hill just because like in the cinematography of the moment, even if there isn't really a hill, it just the fisheye lens makes it feel like there is as you move towards this inevitable moment.
Do I see the devil Kashmir out there?
You do.
Do you think you could make the initial shot from there? She won't see you from out there. It's a bit of a ways for seem like you might be able to do it.
I can. Roll an intuition's mind on this one. This isn't like an impulse understanding. This is a deciphering.
Okay. No, cat, don't play with my dice.
This is opposed, so 4s are what you're looking for.
Just 2 successes.
You get the sense she doesn't trust you, but she's following you.
Sister, I want you to be the trigger for the attack with your shot. After you do so, you're welcome to engage freely as you see fit.
I will make it so. And the ruffle of noise of cloak and wing, and she does Batman this time.
In broad daylight, she can Batman.
Well, it's not broad daylight yet, not even close.
Oh, that's true. That's true. And I make my way down towards the dock.
Do you want to try to perceive her as she does her thing?
Oh,
You need 5
yeah.
Unawareness mind. She's very sneaky.
Sure. 2 success.
Nope, she literally Batmans you.
Okay.
All right. So now you're like to the docks. Your other compatriots have your little entourage have spread out. And you see Tamiya there on one particular sort of pier, right? There's no boats flanking it for any distance in between. There's like blank docks around. She's standing there. She's got her like weird sort of like studded staff thing, it's like the sort of double-sided studded staff, and she's got it there. And she's not reading. She's not doing anything. The staff is planted, and she's just staring out at the waters, and it's super dark. And
I walk up, maybe about a couple paces near her.
yeah,
Good morning.
yeah, you're in
Good
the
morning.
same zone, right? Like you're in the
Yeah.
but not like face to face or close.
No, we're not. Yeah.
You're at like sort of one end of the dock, and she's maybe at the other end when she turns around. So you've chosen, she says.
I have. I would like to keep an eye on the devil Kashmir.
It is serene, sort of lilting and bobbing, like on the quiet morning waves. The sun begins to like finally crack the horizon, and you get a little sort of sheet of light like cutting across its deck and its mast, and that little sheet begins to unfold over the first sort of break of the waves on the piers and docks.
Tell me, Tammy, what do you make of my choice?
I truly do not know your heart.
I keep looking over the Devil Cashmere, waiting for the for Jan to do her signal and start her attack. As I wait, like, I don't know I fully do either, but I've made a choice. Now I'll have to deal with that and live with it.
A lance, almost like a needle, pierces through.
Before you finish, I would like to attempt to intercept it with my shield.
Okay, so first of all, it doesn't come from the Devil Cashmere.
Ooh, okay. All right.
Because she disobeyed your order.
Fair. She's smart.
Yeah, had she shot from the Devil Cashmere, they'd have fucking owned her ass. Like, that old man who's, like, always in the boat may seem like he's kind of out of it, but, like, all he does is perceive and row. It's all he does.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to be rolling an attack roll here, and I think you're going to, just for simplicity's sake, you're going to roll an opposed attack roll. Minus any dagger bonuses, like what your dice pool is to, like, attack someone with a dagger, switch it in, and, like, you're doing it with a shield.
Okay.
So, probably around a 7d6 or 8d6 or something like that.
Yeah, I got 8d6.
Alright, and then, so, I'm going to go off of your defensive stat instead of your offensive stat, though, because you're trying to defend actively. Okay?
Gotcha. My defense is good.
Alright, so you're good versus her. How am I going to do this? You're on a DN5. And count the number of successes.
3 successes.
All right. With 3 successes, you manage to get in front of the javelin, but you take the damage rather than deflect it.
Gotcha.
Okay?
How much am I taking?
This will be 6.
Okay.
So if you have armor, subtract the
Yeah.
armor, and then
no piercing on this.
There is, but I didn't roll the 6s.
Oh, good. They're using the old rules.
So it'll subtract from your toughness. And go ahead and roll an awareness now. Awareness mind. It becomes apparent because you even maybe moved and you had your shield towards the Cashmere, and then it freaking hit you from the total opposite angle.
2 great successes on 6s, and then 2 pitiful 2s and 3s.
With that, you know for certain it didn't come from the Devil Cashmere. You know it's her javelin, her weapon, like you'd expect. I'd even say that you know it came from dockside rather than seaside. So she did not follow your instructions in terms of where to shoot from. But
Is
you
it
don't.
still? Is it still stuck in me, or did it pass?
Oh
through
yeah,
me?
it's like. I mean, it did a good chunk of damage, but I'd say this is the stuck in you more than like went clean through.
Sweet. If I live, I got a javelin.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's gonna be an initiative time.
Sure is. I will have a 13. Skig's blessing is with me.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna do the Devil Cashmere as one. I'm gonna do your Entourage as one. I'm going to do Jaeon as one, and I'm gonna do Tamia as one. So here's Tamia. Damn, Tamia, rocking an 11. What did you get?
13. Maxed it.
Right. That's probably appropriate. Ooh. Kind of the important one, I think. Oof. Okay. You go first.
I guess I turn back and smile at Tamia despite the pain. Is there any of my other contingent nearby?
Oh, they've already like wrapped around. Like they're basically like there's two kind of would have been flanking you, but you dived or dodged forward. So there's like two basically at the like right where the dock connects to the pier. You know, like right there. So there's like two there on like either side of the crates. You know, type thing.
Right.
There's two more yet behind them, and then you had that thing, and then it's just like all ocean on the other side. So you're just like you're essentially bottlenecked on this pier on this dock.
Well, I will go to the closest one, maybe Mikhail, and I will unleash fury upon her and show her what Khaine truly is.
Oh my! All right.
Ugh. Get my dice here. What's their defense right now?
They're good.
Good. Okay. That dice on the floor. Okay. Stop dropping dice. Couple fails. Hey, my sickles do something special, don't they? Yes, they'll be bleeding now. Damage is 1 plus success. So 1, 2. So that's 7 damage to her. And, oh, sorry. 9 damage because I rolled 2 6s, and she's bleeding.
So with the 9 damage, you actually bring her down. Like you go up with both sickles and like you plunge them sort of right on the 2 collarbones and bow. And she's like heaving heavily and stuff, but like she's down.
Okay. I will turn on the other one and use a metal.
Okay. The other 2 you don't immediately see. For
Sure.
Okay.
Just 5 damage on this one, and also bleed.
I'm sorry, how much?
5 damage, and she's bleeding.
Okay. Yeah, she's still standing.
Yeah.
Okay. John goes.
Oh boy.
I knew it. Another javelin, like sort of from the dockside, and she's in the air, diagonal up and away, and just down at you.
As it's being thrown at me. I only ever saw her carry 1. Where are these coming from?
She plucks them from the shadows.
Ooh.
Yeah. You're good?
Yes.
Okay. That's going to be another 8.
Ooh.
I think you're moving into wounds now.
No.
No? Oh, ooh, okay.
3 toughness left before that happens.
Okay.
You've given me way too much armor as a witch elf in this game.
You needed it.
I know. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to roll Craith.
Ah, you
Never
did.
mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
You haven't improved to a 5 yet, by the way.
Nope. I have not.
Okay. All right. John's gonna meddle.
Yeah, of course.
Now we get the 2 pierces.
Oh no. My 1 armor.
So we're gonna ignore 2 armor here.
Oh boy.
5. That'll be 5. 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay, so that's 6 points past my toughness. I'm not good with the wounds thing.
Yeah, it's got to be looked up, but
We need Vince. Vince knows this part.
yeah, he does. It's you get it like you're about to get a check essentially, and it's a minor wound versus a severe wound. Why is my PDF not working? Here we go. I said have your backup character ready. The easier thing would have been to fight Tamia.
I know.
You chose the more difficult thing.
Yup.
You even lured her out. All right, so your toughness is reduced to 0. You begin to suffer wounds instead until you recover some of your toughness. All damage you suffer is dealt as wounds. Most enemies will have toughness and do not have wound track. Any remaining damage is converted to wounds. How much extra damage did you receive beyond your...
She did 8, correct?
Sure.
Okay. 4. 4 extra.
So this is a serious wound. It fills 2 spaces on your wound track.
Okay. So I put that up to a 2 now.
Okay. How many wounds you got left? You hanging in there? You doing good?
4 left. 4 wounds left.
So, like, all right. All right. All right. So Tamia goes now. All right. You see her slam her staff down, and like the clouds begin to billow above head as she like grasps as lightning strikes to her hand. She grasps it and lobs it at Jan.
That's gonna be overkill on the Kanare.
I mean, if she weren't like built like a PC, yeah. If she was a
I know.
pud. If she was a pud.
Yeah.
4 1s, by the way, on that roll, but
Oh no.
she does some damage though. So just lightning crackles into her fist as she catches it from the clouds and lobs it at Jan. You know what? She's going to also burn a metal, and she's going to go to prayer some. It's not as powerful as Skig, who's just only put his life into that. But you're going to heal 3 toughness. 4 toughness.
Okay.
Your wounds remain, but you have 4
Right.
toughness back. All right. Next up, it's the entourage. which is 3 of them. 3 of them pile in on you.
Okay.
You're good.
I am good.
You've betrayed us, sister. You've betrayed Morathi-Khaine. Penance will be taken in your blood. 1 lunges forward for 4. If you've got some armor.
Okay. Sure do.
Another lunges in for 4.
Okay.
To go over your toughness / armor this time again, or no?
Yeah, you're getting what you're chipping. You did 2 total into the toughness. I still have some left.
Okay. All right, and then the final one comes in for. That's cocked. 1, 2, 3, 4. For 5 on this one.
I'll take me back down to 0, but does not go past my toughness.
All right, you don't gain an additional wound. The Devil Kashmir. You suddenly feel your head swim and spin as the world shrinks away from you, and you're surrounded by wood and sail and sailor.
I am delirious and vomiting blood.
You're standing on the bow of the Devil Kashmir, looking out across the dock, and you see Avender Rail standing in front of Tamia. He looks back at you and winks
I vomit blood.
as he says, you see him mouth the words, "Precious cargo and freedom."
I vomit blood.
Yeah. I guess I'm just gonna give you this one. He used some spells because he's been a spellcaster this whole time.
What?
And there's
I might not even. I like that I still might not realize that because of my wounds, like delirium.
Yeah, and you're on you're on there. The dwarf at the helm and the old man who usually ferries you across, dwarfs at the helm, and the old man who usually ferries you across is like, it's about to get real ugly, says the old man. And we gotta follow the captain's orders, he says, looking up at the dwarf. The dwarf nods back at him. He's proud of you, you know.
We'll wait and see if I regret that or not. So far, I don't. But I need some time.
You see that sort of mirror reflective thing occur around the outside of you, like previously as the Devil Kashmir. We get the perspective from Tamia and Avender as the Devil Kashmir just sort of like seems to evaporate into the sea as the illusions go up. There's a dagger stuck into the mast, the one that you stashed on him. And it just says, "See you soon."
So wait, did I disappear with him, or am I just somewhere else?
You're on the Devil Kashmir as it goes in, quote unquote, invisible.
Okay.
And it begins to move away from the docks.
Okay. So the "see you soon" isn't from him. I'm sorry. Maybe that's what I'm mixing up here.
No, it is from him. It's the dagger that you stashed on him is stabbed into his own mast with a note that says, "See you soon."
Okay. But he's gone.
Yeah, he's on the docks with Tamia.
Gotcha.
So the spell that he used, it can only switch places. It can't
He used a Daughters of Cain spell.
Yeah. So he switched places with you from his boat. And so
Gotcha. Okay, I missed that there. As I guess as I watch it fade away, I pull out the Melusi arrow and I just snap it in half and throw it overboard. Done with this.
Yeah.
But I keep that feather. I have unfinished business.
And a javelin still, like, basically in your shoulder.
Heck yeah!
Alright. As the Devil Kashmir makes it out into the Cinder Sea, you see what can only be described as a coil of privateer vessels begin to sort of descend on the city. They make it seem like it's pageantry and celebration, and there's some big sort of festival going on, and something awesome's about to happen. But you, knowing the sinister undertone of it all, realize immediately that the black scale coil is here, to basically make a kill cordon and lock the Anvilgard city, like to landlock them with essentially a blockade of the black scale coil, which is that sort of piratical underbelly element you were already pseudo dealing with. They've turned on the very citizens of Anvilgard itself. We're gonna kind of go into narrative mode here as Morathi's like parade to Anvilgard arrives, and you're on the Devil Kashmir, and it's like lifting up, and it's like actually like heading away from Anvilgard. Ain't no shame in it. Ain't no shame in choosing what's right. Says the dwarf at the helm.
Do I see Morathi at all? Morathi-Khaine?
You catch a glimpse of her, like sauntering out, and you can even see, like, in the shadows, the little flits and shifts of this big unnatural serpent. As she walks forward, and sort of in tandem, this creature mirrors her movements. Anvilgard's lost.
I look down at the dwarf. I still don't know if I made the right choice, but it still feels good.
He just, like, looks somber at you. For what it's worth, the captain thinks you did. Alleged captain. He smiles again.
I pull the dagger out and resheath it.
Where to?
Can you get me to Odessa? I have friends waiting there for me. And family.
On the double. On the double. All right, you scallywags! And he starts barking orders at it as the Devil Kashmir takes to the sky for the second time this campaign. We catch a lightning bolt, like, strike down and then strike back up. And you can't quite make out from where. But from Anvilgard, but you don't, like, pinpoint exactly where it is. And then you start to see, like, little bits of them do it. And then you catch, like, a pair go up and then get caught and then, like, kind of explode into a blood mist over the city. Almost like the lightning was, like, caught and dispersed.
I pissed off a god.
And we'll call it there for the evening.
I will go to bed with my doubts and my feelings, and Yeah, and probably in a couple more sessions, I'll catch back up with
I
the
think
crew.
so.
They still have some more to do.
Yeah, so they'll be on a cog fort, and they took a few days. You only took a few days. I can probably parachute you into not Adasa, but like after this next adventure, the following one. Like
Yeah, whatever.
we'll have like
Whatever.
a moment where you like kind of like parachute.
I parachute into Midgar.
Yeah, I think we'll have a moment like that. Except it's like a weird Zinchian tower. So
Sure,
we'll have a moment like that.
be fun.
All right.
I didn't die. I didn't die. I got
There's-
close.
There was a part of me that was like it was feeling out more the narrative moment than the death moment, and I'm like, we could play this out a little bit longer, but let's go into the drama and have you like not falling asleep at your keyboard. So
I know it's 2 a.m. for me. I'm not sleepy. I'm kind of wired because I was just like I'm still going like did I make the right choice? I don't know. Like I think I like the goodness in me says I did, but the narrative Terathi lover in me says you are wrong, and you will sit there in your wrongness, and we will come after you.
oh, you've made an enemies for all of the lives now in your own within your own little personal narrative. Like you've made a mortal enemy in Jaan, and you have Valia Heartstone, who's just like the most disapproving one could possibly be in the higher up. You've got your actual like hag queen Danaea, and like there's so many threads that are now like you have more incomplete threads now than if you had just like killed Tamia.
I know.
Like there's so much more now to go through. Not to mention Morathi-Khaine herself. Like, to be fair, she probably doesn't know you specifically because you were just like an agent of some of the stuff trying to happen, and it didn't go as smooth as she would have wanted this now because you didn't get. Well, you did still kind of fulfill your purpose. You got Tammy out the way.
I guess a little bit. I mean, there's always a path for redemption in Kane's eyes, but it's going to be a long one, I think.
Yeah, we'll see. This is just called role playing, folks. So I look forward to the next session, and thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, thanks for running this. This was fun. It was really fun.
Yeah, right on. I hope you enjoyed it. All right, chat gang, you know the bit. You're the show within the show. The reason we do all this all. I hope you enjoyed the best Damn Soulbound show. Hopefully next week, certainly next session, we'll catch back up with the rest of the party on their journey through this ancient murder desert of doom. And they're about to get their own little like plot hook. And hopefully they don't run into the nothing again, because that would be pretty brutal. Good night, everybody.
Good night.